Okay, good morning. Today I'm going over the 27 Stoic rules to master your life. I'm just setting up the audio right now because I've got something playing somewhere. Brilliant. Okay, so I'll be covering the 27 Stoic rules to master your life, and then I'll be going over 3 topics that were asked from me on Instagram, which was how to stop caring what other people think, there's some goodness worth fighting for, and how to feel the magic of life. Good morning. Good morning. It's good to have you here. Nice and early for you as well. I didn't think any of the UK people would be here. It's quite early, but it's good to have you here. So yeah, I'll be covering the 27 Stoic rules to master your life. I made a post a while ago on Instagram where I thought of like the I'm a spot. Brilliant. Nice and early, getting in the gym before work. I like to hear it. I haven't done that for ages. I've started doing gym on my lunch break. Yeah, so these are 27 Stoic rules to master your life. I posted these a while ago and they were very well received, but obviously I didn't add to them. I just posted them as a text post on Instagram. So I thought it's worthwhile to expand on all 27 rules. And then I'll be covering 3 topics that were asked from me, which was how to stop caring what people think, there's some good in this world and it's worth fighting for, and how to feel the magic of life. And this is my first AM stream. So I was a bit worried about doing an AM stream because I thought if no one turns up in the morning, I'll be talking to myself for an hour or so, which is what I already do. So not much changes. But this is the first of the scheduled streams. Again, I still don't have the studio set up, which is it's not annoying, but I would like to get the studio set up soon. It's just taking much more time than I thought. But I'm still here. And as long as people are turning up, I'll still keep turning up. And we'll be learning about Stoicism together. So basically how this goes is I'll go over the 27 rules. If you have any questions about Stoicism or what I'm speaking about, or you have your own interpretation or your own opinion or thoughts, leave them in the chat and I'll get to them when they pop up, or when I can think about, when I can take a break from teaching one of the rules. I'll get to your question and answer it. And if you're very busy, for example, you have to go to the gym or you have to go to work, just leave any of your questions in the chat, and all these live streams will always end up on my page. So if you have any questions now and you can't watch the full thing, just leave them in the stream and I'll answer every question, and then you can go visit it when the stream's over or at a convenient time. And of course, I will be live every Wednesday at 6 p.m., Wednesday at 6 p.m., Thursday at 6 p.m., Sunday at 4 p.m., and then Tuesday at 6 a.m. This is all GMT. I've posted it on the community tab, but if you follow me on Instagram, I'll be posting every time before I go live, and I'll be scheduling it, and I'll also be putting a Q&A every single time, so you can get your questions in early and know that I'll be answering them on the stream. The only time I didn't do that is today because it's my first stream in the AM, and it's all very new to me, but we're here. That's all that matters. So I'll be starting very soon, going over the rules. Okay. '27. I've just messed up my list of rules. Okay. Before we get started, though, anyone that's new to Stoicism, yeah, I'm just trying to. I said I'd be here. It's more of a. I thought if I can get as many hours in early, then I can master the craft. like just understand how this works, and then I can get better at doing it. I've noticed in the last like 7 streams I've done, I've understood it a little bit better and how to um, present it. It's a little bit different to a lot of other media I've done. But actually, this is by far my favorite way of teaching and learning and sharing and communicating. It's like nothing comes close to it, because that live feedback, actually talking to people, hearing their response, hearing their opinions, it's like you get the real thing. Whenever I'm just teaching on like a video, let's say, is I don't actually know what the response is. I don't know where people are hung up on. I don't know what people are confused about, or what people disagree with, or what people agree with, or what resonates with people. So this is just the best way. No, I didn't stay up to 4 a.m. I watched the highlights. Unfortunately, because apparently it was like, well, it seemed like one of the best games ever. A lot of people told me it was the best game, but I couldn't stay up because why couldn't I stay up? I had other commitments. I don't know what they were. Just some life commitments. I don't know. So I had to miss it. But I'm telling you, we're going to the final. We're going to the final. I hope. Okay. So yeah, this is 27 Stoic rules to master your life. Before I get started, I just want to explain why I'm sharing these, and the why I think they can actually change your life. So if you look online in the Stoic field, it is people regurgitating the same stuff that was shared in the early 2000s by writers such as Donald Robertson, William B. Irvine, Ryan Holiday, Massimo Pigliucci, and the whole internet has just grabbed onto their early writings and just keep regurgitating it. And they keep filtering it through AI, and then AI just keeps regurgitating the same few Stoic teachings. And whilst those Stoic teachings are good, like from the original writers, if you go to the source, not the original, not Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus that I have here, not these guys. I'm on about the modern day writers such as Ryan Holiday, Massimo, William B. Irvine, Donald Robertson, which they're all great writers and they have good things to share. But they shared that in the early 2000s, and then people just latched onto these ideas. They've been posted as blog posts and all over the internet. And now when people go on, start a YouTube channel or anything, or an Instagram page, and they want to make money off of Stoicism, they just type into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, and they say, make me a script about hardships and with Stoicism. So AI just scrapes the internet, and they're just scraping the same blogs, which has the writing of these modern day writers. So you're literally getting a small pocket of Stoicism, and you're having that scraped by AI, and it's just twisting it into something else. Yeah, exactly. It's been twisted. It gets twisted into something else, and then it's just regurgitated over and over again. And everything you see online, not everything, sorry, there are some original teachers and some original practitioners of Stoicism, but the majority of it is just the same stuff over and over again. So here's where I come in. I was just your ordinary guy. I grew up 7 siblings, single mom in a council house, and I grew up very anxious. And I grew up very anxious, and then getting into my mid-teens, early 20s, I was really anxious, depressed, miserable, pessimistic. I hated life. I didn't really see the point in living. And it was in my late teens that I found Stoicism, but it took me a long time to understand it. So I would be on the bus to work, getting up at 4 a.m., traveling like 2 hours to work on the buses, just hating life, miserable, being illegally underpaid, just really, really hating my life, wondering like, what's the point? And I didn't see the point. But I'm reading on the buses to work, I'm reading this book, The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. Now, it's not this exact copy, but this is a copy I've had for a very long time. I don't know where that copy went, but this is falling apart now. But this is my most used copy, and I'm reading it, and I'm reading quotes in it and the passages and the exercises that the emperor himself did, and they start to actually help me. So I start to scribble down little notes in his book and try to practice what he preaches. So I remember getting the buses in the morning, hating my life, being miserable, and I read from Marcus Aurelius, and there's this exercise about like premeditatio malorum, or maybe I read it from Epictetus. I can't remember exactly. It's a long time ago. I'm getting old, but I read this exercise called premeditatio malorum, and it's the premeditation of evils that lay ahead. And it's just basically the exercises, and this is how I practiced it. I would, just before going to work, I'd close my eyes and imagine all the bad things, all the difficulties, all the troubles that will befall me that day. That always befall me. So I might miss the bus. The bus driver might be rude. There might be people at the back of the bus being rude and ignorant. When I get to work, my boss is going to be mean. He's going to be a bully. I'm going to be uncomfortable for the day. I'm going to get home late. I'm going to be tired. I had all these things, and I meditate on them, and I let them be, and then I accept them. I go, okay, I accept this. I feel at peace that these things will happen. And the strangest thing happened. When the things happened, the power was taken away. They no longer disturbed me. I felt at peace when they happened. Like, it was still just as like challenging. Good morning, Eleanor. It's good to have you here nice and early. And Niels Van Berdath. It's good to have you here. So yeah, when these things happened, I felt at peace that they happened. And I was like, this Stoicism stuff really works. So then I've been practicing it for about 10 years, 11 years. I don't know how old I am. 12 years. I've been practicing Stoicism 12 years because I'm 30 now, and I started when I was 18. And it took me a very long time to really understand the exercises. So I learned it I didn't go to university because when I was younger, I thought I was too stupid for university. I thought Stoicism was for smart people. I didn't have that education. I was just a building site laborer. But I started reading these exercises from Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca, and I started doing them every single day. And I'm practicing them, trying my hardest. And, you know, today I do not recognize the person I was. I don't understand how I lived with anxiety. I don't understand how I lived with such negative thinking, such pessimistic views. I don't know how I lived with such a cluttered mind and rumination. And I'll tell you something interesting that happened to me, not yesterday, a few days ago. Um, I was just looking up in the distance, and someone said, like, what are you thinking about? And I was like, nothing. And they laughed, and I was like, well, you're thinking about something, right? I was like, no, my mind is literally empty. Now, coming from someone whose mind used to be like a tumble dryer full of the worst possible thoughts, on repeat, the most self-deprecating, self-hating, self-loathing thoughts, and the most paranoid, anxious thoughts, just on repeat, tumbling around in my head. Coming from someone like that, and then getting to a point where I'm like, my mind is empty. And this person's like saying, like, surely your mind can't be empty. And I was like, you know what? My mind is always empty. Like, it's just at peace. There's nothing going on unless I'm actively thinking about something, unless I'm trying to work something out or imagine something. My mind is empty. And it was in that moment I realized, like, I reflected back on my journey, and I was like, Stoicism has taken me so far. It's taken me so far. So these teachings are some that I've just picked up along the way that have really helped me. And some of them you might latch onto and be like, whoa, that can help me. They help at different times, in different places in your life and for different people. So 27 rules is quite the list, but I'll get through it. One of these streams I did like 51 rules, but these are a bit different rules. So today, anyone that's joined late, is 27 Stoic rules to master your life. And then at the end, I'll go over 3 topics that were asked of me, which is how to stop caring what people think, there is some good in this world and it's worth fighting for, and how to feel the magic of life, which a little bit off Stoicism, a little bit off topic of Stoicism, but they're still personal to me. They've been asked of me. And I suppose that's what's most important, that we're sharing them together. I can't believe some of you have got up so early for the stream. It's incredible. You didn't have to. You could have made tomorrow's stream, which is at a more reasonable time, but I'm not complaining. I'm very happy you're here. So let's get into it. The only problem I have today is I feel like there's some pollen in the air. That those trees are producing a lot of pollen or something. I always get it every morning. It's like, because I went for my morning walk after breakfast. It's like the trees are trying to kill me. And this is a new thing. This is a new thing for me. I've never had allergies. Never had allergies. Jeez. I need to slow down my speaking, otherwise people will struggle to hear me and know where I'm from. This doesn't have the clearest accent. Okay. So let's get into it. And of course, like always, if you have any questions, you have anything to say, just put it in the chat and I'll answer it when I can. So this is this is 27 Stoic rules to master your life. I've developed these over 12 years of practicing Stoicism, taking me from being anxious, depressed, miserable, pessimistic, always ruminating, always thinking the worst possible outcomes, to becoming someone that is happy, at peace, is confident, successful, and has an empty mind, completely at peace. I'll tell you something interesting is I used to lay in bed till about 4 a.m., knowing I had to be up at 6 a.m. All the time, ruminating, scared, worried, frightened, embarrassed, shameful. Now I can close my eyes and within less than 5 minutes, I'll be asleep. And I put that down to Stoicism, helping me calm my mind and being peaceful. Because I've put my mind to bed. There's no problems awake in my head before I go to sleep. So rule 1, remember death, live like time is running out. The Stoics had this mantra, memento mori, which is Latin. It means remember you are mortal, or remember death. And the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, he would remind himself this daily. And some Roman emperors would have people whisper in their ear, say, remember you are mortal, remember you are mortal. And this reminder serves many purposes. Number 1, it keeps you grounded, it keeps you humble. For emperors that thought they were like gods, it's to have someone whisper in their ear, remember you are mortal, you will die like every single emperor that comes before you. It helps them stay grounded. But then I think the main reason the Stoics used it, and the main reason I love this mantra, is it helps you understand this gift of life, how precious it is. I made an Instagram video about this yesterday, in fact, and I said, if you knew tomorrow was their final, if you knew today was their final day, how would you treat them? How would you behave with them? How would you be around them? Because tomorrow comes for us all, and it comes unannounced. And I don't say this to scare you. I say this to remind you how precious this life is, how precious the things around us are, how precious the people around us are, the things we take for granted. Because we seem to wait for life. We seem to wait and put things off, hoping that tomorrow will be a better day. And we forget the importance of the things around us. So if today were your final day, and you come to the very end, and you're about to pass, and before you is a God or an almighty figure, and you're begging and pleading like, no, I want to go back. Please let me back. Please, please, please. And God turns and smirks. Here's your please. You go, why? And you're like, God, I will love them more. I'll be more present. I won't waste time. I'll live fully. I'll really appreciate this gift that I've been given. I'll help people. And God's like, prove it to me. Go down there and prove it to me. And you wake up the next morning, air in your lungs, blood in your heart, How would you prove it? How would you prove that you truly appreciate this thing called life? Well, who knows? But the way I used memento mori when I was anxious and I couldn't do things, I couldn't get out of my comfort zone. Before doing anything scary, it's kind of like YOLO, let's do it. No, before doing anything scary, anything intimidating, anything outside of my comfort zone, I would remind myself, soon I'll be dead. So these things really don't matter. The fear I hold now will be nothing, be gone, fizzled out. And it helps me to really appreciate the people I have around me. I always remind myself that this could be the last time I spend with these people. Every moment could be my last. I remember talking to Master Shuheng Yi at the Shaolin Temple on the topic of death and memento mori. And I said to him, I said, we have to remind ourselves that we're mortal, that any day could be our last. And he looked at me and he said, who's to say that you won't die right now? You finish up talking to me, you walk out this door and you drop dead. Who's to say that? And when he said that, I really understood something. That this moment right here could be our last. There's a quote by Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations, book 4, I believe. I'm not going to find it because I can't remember the exact page. Oh, it's here. Yeah. Book 7. I'm sorry. Book 769. Perfection of character is to live each day as if it were your last, without frenzy, without apathy, without pretense. When I tell people memento mori, live each day as it were your last, people often reply with a little joke saying, what, so I'm going to skydive, party, get drunk, waste all my money, do bad things. That's what I'm going to do because every day's my last. I can't live like that. No. To live each day as if it were your last, without frenzy, without apathy, without pretense, is literally, as you're listening to me, you've just woken up or you're going about your day, it's early morning or it's late night, wherever you are in the world. You have to think, if this moment were my last, so right now as I'm talking to you, I remind myself, if this was my last, me talking to you, am I happy with that? Am I okay with that? Did I stay true to me? Did I live fully? That if I was literally to drop dead right now, and I'm sat there with God looking down at my body, and God's like, well, how was your final moment? I can look at God and be like, I lived it the best I could. I lived fully. Thank you. That's enough. And that's what it means to live each day as if it were your last. Okay, so that's rule number 1, memento mori. If I use something like Headspace for bed, I sleep. So is Headspace that app? And can you explain what Headspace is? I think it's an app. I've heard of it before. You can leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Exactly. It's very similar in thought. It's just so true. And another thing about death is I always feared death. Like it was something that like scared the hell out of me. Like kept me up all night. It made me panic all day. It gave me this like dread, this overwhelming feeling, this like fear looming over me. And Stoicism helped me get rid of that. So completely gone, never worried about death. In fact, I thought about death a lot in a positive sense. I thought it was quite a beautiful thing. As Steve Jobs said, it's like the life's greatest change agent. It makes way for the new by clearing the old. And then my daughter's born. Good morning, Carl L. Winslow. It's good to have you here, and so early. So early. I do apologize to anyone if this is like not an appropriate time like the last streams, but I'm just trying to do different things. I'm trying to work it into my schedule. And 6 a.m. You can join the 6 a.m. club. Yeah, I didn't fear death. And then my daughter's born, right? And I've spoke to a lot of people about this. My daughter is born, and every single fear I had as a child came back twice as strong. So like, I used to when I was younger, because I was an idiot, I used to climb really tall buildings and jump across them, which was pretty stupid because if I fell, I would have died. But I had no fear of heights, basically. And I used to love roller coaster rides. And I had no fear of death or anything. So anyway, my daughter's born, and I developed fear of heights. Like I'm going on a plane and I'm getting scared. I'm going on a ride and I'm getting scared. I'm like, okay, I need to sort this. But then I realized my fear of death came back twice as strong. It was like I cut off the serpent's head and it reared it back, came back even stronger. And it's something I had to address. So I'd be laying there with my daughter at night, and I just get this like horrible feeling of death, like death is standing over us, watching us. And I didn't know how to combat this until I thought, how did I do it when I was younger? I fully appreciated life. I accepted the gift of life. So when I got that horrible feeling loom over me of like death, and I'm sat there with my daughter when she was just born, I would just remind myself, it's like, I have to be fully here whilst I can. I have to give what I can give to her and to the people around me and to myself. I have to live fully. And it has made me a much better father. I remember the only advice I tried to stick to, being a new dad when she was just born, which was almost 3 years ago, was advice by Garbo Mate. He says, you can't get everything right. You're never going to do everything perfect. But the best thing you can do is be there and be present. So it's the most important thing, especially in the first 3 years. Just being there, being present with them is the most important thing. So to me, that meant if I'm there, I'm fully present. I'm not distracted by this, and even distracted by my books. Because now, if I'm reading these books, my daughter, she'll tell me to put them down. She'll be like, "Come and play, and put down your book, play." And that's the only thing I stood by. So this fear of death was trying to get in the way of that, and when I overcame it, I could fully be there. Oh yeah, it's um, there's never an inappropriate time to philosophize. Um, just meditation, essentially, just using that allows you to get a sense of progression. Okay, I might have to check out Headspace. Although I do, like I said, like I feel like a show off sometimes because of how far I've come from like laying in bed till 4 a.m. on able to sleep to like I can sleep in 5 minutes. Like it feels like a miracle. I don't even know how it happens. I just lay there and I'm asleep. Okay, rule 2: be here, not lost in the past or in the future. Being present is one of the greatest things that I learned, because if you think about the timeline of your life that's going on in your head, at least what was going on in my head, I had the past, which is infinite. It's based off of memories and imagination, because your imagination is infinite. And then I had my future, which is infinite. It hasn't happened, but it is infinite. Any possibility could happen. So, what I would imagine when I was younger and I was very anxious and very miserable and very shameful is I'd look back in the past, this infinite past with my imagination, and remember all the bad things that I'd done, all the bad things that had happened to me, all the shameful things, all the horrible things. And they would trouble me, no end. And then I did the same for the future. All the worries, all the anxieties about things that could happen, might not happen. And they troubled me. And they were all infinite because they're based off of my imagination. And my imagination was wild, insane. I could make a mountain out of a molehill. I could do anything. And I remember just thinking, if I can get present, then the only things that will trouble me are the things that are here. And I think that's what's helped me so much in life to be so peaceful and so at ease and like feel so free. Is the only things that should trouble me are things that are actually present, that can actually harm me, can actually harm the people around me. Things in the past cannot touch me, things in the future cannot touch me. And once you remove this infinite timeline of worry and struggle, you just exist in this small point. And literally 99% of your problems will disappear. Well, that's at least what happened to me. And for people I teach about this, they agree. So, okay, rule 33. Rule 33. I can tell it's a bit early for me. Rule 3: be here. Rule 3: review your day, own your actions. So, if anyone remembers homework 2 weeks ago, and anyone that's new here, I don't always give homework, and homework isn't mandatory. But the homework was an exercise that the Stoics learned from Pythagoras himself. And this idea is to review your day, to review it with honesty. And I think it's one of the most important things. And if I remember rightly, Eleanor, you've been trying this. And maybe Matthew, you've tried this. I'm not too sure. But I know people have been trying this exercise of reviewing your day. And like I said, the Stoics learned this from Pythagoras. So the idea is at the end of your day, there's many ways to do this. I'll give you the brief overview and you can find your own way to do it. At the end of your day, when you lay in your bed or just before you go to bed, whilst you're in the bath, when you're unwinding, whatever it is, you're part of your nightly routine, you think about your day. You think about the things you did, the things you didn't do, the things you got right, the things you didn't get right. And you just think about them honestly. And I always say, like, I think truth and honesty is the most important thing. But if you want to lie to people, I'm not going to stop you. You lie to people. But never lie to yourself. I will never agree with lying to yourself. I will never agree with you. So if you come to me saying you've been lying to yourself, I'm not going to agree with it. I'm going to understand it. I'm going to be compassionate and understand that the ego is trying to protect you. It's a tricky thing to be honest to yourself. It's one of the most trickiest things. It is one of the most difficult things to be honest to yourself, but it is one of the most powerful tools you'll ever encounter in life. And it's one of the most life-changing tools, just being able to be honest. So you think about your day, things you did right, things you got wrong, any conflicts you had, you think about them honestly. Because no one's here to judge you. It's just you there. So if you're like, oh, maybe I was actually wrong. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have been nicer. Maybe I should have not got involved. Maybe I should have been kinder, more disciplined, whatever. Only you know the true answers, and you speak that to yourself. And if you're religious or you believe in higher power, you can do this with God. You can just do this with a God. I think something quite powerful with certain prayers and certain mantras is you bypass the ego. Because you're now talking to a higher power, you can speak through your ego and get to the truth quite well. So you can pray, and that's a new thing I've been understanding. It's very similar. It's very similar method, I suppose, with reviewing your day and speaking to a higher power, because it removes the ego. I'm still doing it every single day. It's helping a lot. That is amazing to hear, Eleanor. It is funny how I take ideas from years ago. Yeah, it's, you know what's funny? I read a lot of these modern books. Like there's Mel Robbins' "Let Them" theory. That's just from Stoicism. It's literally from Stoicism. Like she probably read the Stoics. I don't know. But then again, like I say that, it's like you read the Stoics, you read a lot of religious texts, you read a lot of the ancient scriptures, and they're all teaching about very similar things. Pretty much the same things. The thing I love about Stoicism is the packaging which it is in, the way it is presented was so understandable to me when I was younger. It is the only thing that made sense. It was literally the only thing that made sense. Now I've got older and I've been reading like Taoist texts and Zen Buddhism and all of these different things. They help me no end as well, and they inspire me, and I learn a lot from them. Okay, I've just come to the epiphany that my ego did in fact not die like I thought. It slowly became the lens of suffering instead, making sure I held into. That's the thing, right? I believe you can't kill the ego. The ego, Alan Watts compares it to the ego is like a thief or a robber, and it's broke into a house, and this house has infinite floors. So the ego is here on ground one, ground zero, and then the police come in to get the robber, and then it goes to the next floor. The police go up there, it goes to the next floor. It keeps going. And that's your ego. When you think you've caught your ego, when you think you've killed your ego, when it's dead, it moves up to the next floor. It changes face. It becomes something else. The ego is so tricky. But the ego, I believe, is not something to be killed. It protects us. It's just to be understood that we don't have to live within the confines of that cage. You know, the ego builds a cage around us to keep us safe. It is based off of past hurt. So when we're a child, people might say, something bad might happen and we build a cage around it. We might do something embarrassing and it gets us pushed out. So we're like, okay, every time I open my mouth or I express myself too excitedly, people shun me. So I'm never going to do that. I'm going to become the quiet kid. And we build this cage around ourselves. And whilst, a lion is safe in a cage, a lion does not exist in a cage. It does not live in a cage. It should never live in a cage. So it's okay to have that ego. The ego is there to protect you, but never be held back by it. There's so many layers to this cage that the ego built for me that kept me safe when I was younger, but it also kept me very small and I was dying away inside. I was just crushed in this tiny little cage I built. So I cast it off. I broke out of the cage and I've built new layers around me that keep me safe, built off of this present identity, this present situation I'm in. But you just don't be confined by your ego. It's very mischievous. Very mischievous. Okay. Rule number 4, care for others as you do for yourself. What's interesting about Stoicism that you see online, when I was just saying that the whole online sphere of Stoicism is just a repetition of those early writers, the early modern writers such as Massimo Pigliucci, Donald Robertson, William B. Irvine, Ryan Holiday, and now it's just been regurgitated and represented through AI. So one thing you'll notice about Stoicism is when you first get into it, it's all about being like an alpha, not caring, being an island. And I'll be honest, I hate to admit it, I got into Stoicism for that exact reason. I was scared, I was anxious, I hated life, I felt weak, I felt like everybody was out to get me. And I read this quote by Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations: to be like the rock that the waves crash over, it stands unmoved. And I was like, I want to be that rock. I want to not care about anyone else. I don't want to give a damn. I just want to stand there unmoved. And then I start reading the Stoics and I understand. Stoicism's got nothing to do with being careless. It is everything to do with caring for others. Stoicism, the end goal, the telos of Stoicism, the reason it exists, is to live in accordance with nature. This was their mantra right from the very origins of Stoicism. Okay, just after the origins, because originally the telos was to live in accordance, but then I think it was Cleanthes or Chrysippus added to it. He was the head of the Stoic school. He added to live in accordance with nature. Now, their understanding of nature is different to ours, and it's a bit more nuanced. There's a bit more to it. But ultimately, if I'm going to simplify it to explain it to you now, human nature is to, because we have reason, it is, and other animals do not have reason. It is first to use reason perfectly. And it is also that we're social creatures. So it is to be pro-social. So to use reason perfectly is to follow virtue. So if we live in accordance with virtue and we're good members of a community, good members of society, we live for others, as the Stoics say, what is good for the hive is good for the bee, then we are living in accordance with nature. Now, there's more to it, but simply put, be a good person, right? Which is odd because if you read any of the stuff online or you see any of these AI videos about Stoicism, it is nothing about other people. And it also helps. I'll give you something interesting I learned about when you start seeing the world from an angle of I need to care for others. I adopted this thing of loving all as best as I can, even if I dislike them, even if I've got conflict with them, I'll love them. And it completely changed my life. But one thing it gave me is confidence, because I used to go into situations feeling like I was at the bottom and I was a victim to life and I was being pushed around and I was always intimidated. When I started coming from an angle of I'm up here and I'm just looking at any way I can help people, any way I can love, any way I can be a good person, I no longer saw people as an enemy. I no longer saw them as a threat. They became a brother or a sister. And what's interesting is I wrote these notes in the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius on book 1. So here, and I wrote a lot of notes that came to mind, and they all follow the same theme. about basically being a good person, being kind to others. I'll read a few. The Marcus Aurelius, it is likely that Aurelius viewed all people not just as a brother or sister, but even an extension of himself. The language he uses, hey man, hey, take the power back. It's good to have you here in the Stoic sphere of the fellowship, learning Stoicism. So Marcus Aurelius, he saw people as an extension of himself, a part of himself. We're all part of the same universe. We have the same fragment of Zeus within us, as they believe. But then, described by Cicero's Laelius, gaining friends who reciprocate your affection is second in importance to being wise and good. Seek wise and good friends, Seneca says. In Zeno's ideal republic, it's full of sages who live in friendship. In Seneca's letters, even a Stoic sage wants friends. And then you've got this little thing here. That is the circles of concern, or the circles of hierarchies. And you can see it's like circles expanding. It goes from self, family, local community, country, humanity. And so this is the idea is you should bring the concern in and in. You bring all these circles in, which most people don't think when they think of Stoicism. Okay, let me just quickly answer. Yeah, knowing you can weather the storm will help you see it through. Help see you through it. The thing that helps me is like I've weathered storms in the past. So I'm like, any storm that comes for me now, I take it head on. And the idea of like, I'll get to this teaching later, but the idea is like, you learn a lot going through storms. You learn so much about life that I kind of welcome them now. Life is busy. Yeah, so before I move on to the next rule, because this is a good point, life is busy. Like these, a lot of these things I'm teaching, they're ideal, and they sometimes sound too perfect. It's like when life's hard, you kind of forget all these things. That's fine. Obviously, I've been doing it for like 12 years. It's took me till like now to understand many of these things, and I'm still learning, just like you are. And I've been here 12 years. I'm hoping through my teachings, you don't have to waste 12 years to get to the point I'm at, and you should be able to get to them a lot quicker. I spent a lot of years learning wrong. Yeah, construction can be stressful. It certainly can, and it's manual. When you're physically beating your body down, and you're like, the thing I found most hard about construction is the pressure. I don't know why, like getting measurements right, getting all these things right, getting the finish correct. It's like, especially with like a finish, like I don't know, I can't think of an example. The example I was thinking is like pouring concrete, pouring a huge lot of concrete. If it starts to set wrong, or you make mistakes, or the weather's wrong, it's like there's huge pressure there. But anyway, the point is like it's like the analogy that Stokes used. The doctors, the doctors use the Stoics use the analogy of the doctor. It's like these philosophical concepts, these principles, these practices, these rules, the tools that the doctor has, and the doctor has a wide array of tools, and the scalpel, the forceps, all this kind of thing, and you're just getting new tools in your life, learning how to use them. You're keeping them sharp. You're keeping them fresh, and when you first start using a tool, it's an active thing. So like you have to actively review your day. You have to actively remind yourself what is good. You have to actively remind yourself that you are mortal. But when you do this for a long time, you don't have to actively do it. I never have to go, oh, remember I'm mortal. Remember I'm mortal. It comes to mind straight away. I don't have to actively remind myself to live through virtue. It's the first thing that comes to my mind, and it makes things so easy. I suppose it's just like any habit. It's at the start, you have to actively think about it. Imagine, dribbling a basketball. At the start, you have to literally think about where your hands go, where the ball is, and it's very difficult. But eventually, you can do it with your eyes closed, and it's the simplest thing. Yeah, I love Bruce Lee's philosophy. I mean, a lot of that comes from like the Five Rings, but his philosophy is awesome. It's the way he explained it was so good. I love some of his speeches. Yeah, yeah, and I like the old quote videos with Epictetus and Seneca and Marcus Aurelius. Unfortunately, YouTube does not allow that kind of thing anymore. I'm not allowed to post those kind of things anymore. Even though, like, I'd worked with a speaker. Um, he's a great speaker as well. He sounds like Sir Christopher Lee. Um, Even though I did that, I'm not allowed to post that anymore, which is strange because a lot of these AI channels are allowed to post these kind of things, but who knows? But like, I think what I'm doing now is the best way. We're building a little community. Hopefully, the community will expand of like-minded individuals. Yeah, if you have them downloaded, that's brilliant. Um, Download them, download all of them while you can, because YouTube removes them at will. So if some of them have been removed, I can't do anything about that. That's YouTube's. That's what they want to do. I understand it in many ways, but in many ways, I don't really understand it. Yeah, but I do think what I'm doing now is much better. I've noticed the community building around like-minded individuals that actually want to apply Stoicism to their life is just next to none. Nothing comes close. Stoicism is the medicine for character. Yeah, you say measure twice, cut once. When I was like really young in the building game, and like my boss would be like, cut this, I would measure it like 4 times. I'd be like, I can't get this wrong. I can't get this wrong. Especially like a big joist or something. I'm like, some bits of wood are expensive. I was like, oh, if I get this wrong, or a nice tile. I really struggled with tiles that had like difficult sections cut out. I never quite understood how to measure them, and it took me ages. Okay, 5, take the hard path. That is where growth is. It's that same concept of like seeking discomfort. I think our lives become so difficult because we're so comfortable. And I noticed something really interesting like a year back is we don't do what is fun. We don't do what is pleasurable. We don't do what is enjoyable. We do what is comfortable. So, and I realized this like when I was going on Netflix looking for something to watch, and some of my favorite films are on Netflix. I could watch a really good film, but instead of watching a film I enjoy, I watch something that is easy to watch that will just numb my mind. So I can sit there on my phone, just scrolling, and also just watching something just to dull my mind. And it's the easiest thing. So the humans naturally follow the path. Humans naturally follow the path of least resistance, which is a terrible thing, really, because comfort and staying still leads to stagnation. So, whilst it might seem good in the time to stay still, to stay comfortable, it might seem like self care. When things are stagnant, they start to break down. Mold grows in stagnation. So, you have to always be growing and striving and moving. And I'm not talking about like, because one thing I certainly don't want to push is this idea of you need more, you need to get better, you need to be better. That's not true. You're perfect as you are, but we have to keep moving, we have to keep growing, we have to keep learning, so that we're not staying still. Because if we stay still, it's not a good place to be. It becomes sedentary. Yeah, get comfortable being uncomfortable. That is one of the greatest things you can learn. Seeking discomfort and being comfortable in this discomfort will lead to so much growth. So the Stoics taught us about this. Um, the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius himself, this man here, when he was younger, he did the Greek agoge training, which is kind of like if you've seen 300, um, which is a cool film. It's what the kids did in that, kind of. It's a bit different. But he would sleep on the hard floor. He would wear a rough robe. He would do the training. And he didn't have to. He was emperor. But he understood something that comfort is dangerous. He learned from his mum, actually, which I like. I like his writing about his mum in book 1 of the Meditations. From my mother, um, from my mother, I learned piety, generosity, the avoidance of wrongdoing, and even the thought of it. Also, simplicity of living, well clear of the habits of the rich. That's important, right? Because you think Marx is probably talking about himself. He's emperor of Rome. He's super rich. He's got to avoid the habits of the rich. It actually came from his mom. And the reason it comes from his mom, I was just in Rome recently, and I went to the Colosseum, went to the Pantheon, and an interesting thing about Marcus Aurelius's mom is she was really rich. She owned a builder's merchant. It's kind of funny we're talking about construction. She owned a builder's merchant and provided material for the Colosseum and for the Pantheon. Well, that's her building company supplied the material for them. So she was super rich in her own right, and she taught Marcus Aurelius to stay clear of the habits of the rich, to seek discomfort. Number 6, be strict with yourself and patient with others. This quote comes directly from Marcus Aurelius. I think a lot of people are strict with others and lenient with themselves, and they give themselves all excuses. I suppose that's what it leads to, is giving yourselves excuses. Because you can see inside your mind, you can find every excuse, you can forgive yourself for everything, but mainly you can lie to yourself. You can lie to yourself and go, oh, the reason I didn't get up early is because of this. The reason I was angry in traffic is because of this. The reason I was rude to that person is because of this. But we never give people that same grace. And what we should do is sort of flip it on its head. We can say to ourselves, the reason I was angry in traffic is because I wasn't patient enough. I need to practice my patience. The reason I was lazy today, the reason I didn't go do the thing I said I wanted to do, is because I valued comfort and ease over pushing myself for a few minutes, over going past that resistance. But then you flip it on its side to people, is when someone cuts you off in traffic, you can offer them that same grace. There's this Stoic idea of like, if you yourself can have been guilty of this crime or this thing, let's say, if you yourself have been guilty of this thing, or you can see yourself being guilty of this thing, how can you blame someone else? So if someone cuts you off in traffic and you're getting angry, if you can say to yourself, well, I've cut people off in traffic, or I can see myself doing that if the circumstance suits it, like I'm in a rush, I've got to pick my kids up, I've got to rush to hospital, whatever it is, then you shouldn't get angry with other people about this. And we should offer them the same grace. And people go like, but why? They're just getting away with it. Who actually cares? They've cut you off in traffic, doesn't really matter. They've done the thing, doesn't really matter. It puts you at ease and it helps give you empathy. And it really helps. I could sit here for hours and hours and days even and tell you about the amount of situations I've done this in, and it's led to some incredible things. And it's really shocked me where people I thought were downright wrong or rude or evil, and I've used this technique on them. I've used this principle. And I've gone, wow, I was wrong. I misjudged them. They were completely in the right. They were a good person. I misunderstood the situation. They were trying to help me. All these kind of things. So just it helps. It helps you. Being in comfort constantly, we're also much easier to be under manipulation. Yeah, we're like, it is so true. It is so true, and it's like one way in which you're manipulated, especially if you live a very comfortable life. Any discomfort that is poked at you moves you away in a certain direction. So if say someone wanted to steer you away from somewhere, or they want to keep you even more oppressed, they just push discomfort upon you in any way, shape, or form, whether it's through media, mainly through media. They push that discomfort, and it can push you away. And yeah, if you're weak, because you're just sitting comfort all day, then you can be manipulated very easy. We have to work hard to fortify our minds, to fortify our life. The Stoics use the analogy of saying that life is not like a dancer; it is like being a wrestler, and that a wrestler is there, standing ready for what life throws at it, ready to take on the challenge, training every single day to be strong. Your videos have introduced me to meditation. I'm miles ahead of my peers. Thank you for the teaching and discipline and focus on the Stoics. I'm thankful that it's helped you so much, but I'm just sharing. I'm just sharing the stuff that these people wrote. But yeah, this stuff changed my life, and that's why I like to share it with other people, because I know it can change lives. But thank you for that message. 7, never complain, adapt and act. Complaining does nothing. I remember Dr. Michael Sagru said, all men suffer, but not all men pity themselves. And it's true. We're all going to face pain in life, but we don't have to complain about it. Complaining does nothing. Now, there is a difference. I say this, and I've said this in the past, like saying, like, don't complain. It doesn't help. And people go, but how will I ever stand up to injustice? You can stand up to injustice. If people are doing wrong, if you're being mistreated, you can stand up for yourself. But you don't have to sit there and complain. Complaining is like false standing up for yourself. That's basically what it is. It's like you feeling like you're doing something about it, but really you're just moaning to yourself, making the troubles more. Um, Number 8, do what's right, not what is easy. Do what is right, not what is easy. I think the fundamental of Stoicism is just a foundation built off of virtue. If you build your foundation off of virtue and understand that virtue is the only good, it is the most important thing, then you take every action based off of this. So when you're faced with a challenge, you think, is this in alignment with virtue? Is this true to my character? And sometimes it's hard to live in accordance with virtue. Sometimes it means forgoing discomforts. It means forgoing challenges and conflict. But that is what we must do. That is the burden that we undertake because we are ready to do that. We don't want to live with our eyes closed. We don't want to be like everyone else, just fitting in like sheep. We want to stand up. We want to stand up for what is right. We want to live the good life. We want to help other people live the good life. The good life is possible for all of us. I truly believe it. And this is why I'm so passionate to share what I've learned, because I went from being so miserable, so anxious, so depressed, ruminating all the time, thinking the world is out to get me, hating everyone and everything, to becoming someone that is so in love with life, so in love with my own life, that's so happy, so at peace. And I know everyone can have that. Everyone that has been where I've been can get to where I am. I know it 100%. And that's why I want to share it. And I know many of you are the same. Many of you have that same belief. So we have to live by that. Hey, Shanu, changing the live schedule at my workplace right now. Watch. Okay, no, it's not. It's not a change in the live schedule. It's an addition to the live schedule. I'll still be live at the same time. I will be live. It's on the community page on this YouTube channel, and I'll be posting it every time on Instagram before I go live. But this is just an additional live stream. I will be live Wednesday at 6, Thursday at 6 p.m. This is GMT, and then I'll be live Sunday at 4 GMT p.m. So yeah, you can. I tell you what, if you have any questions, anything you want to say, just put it into the chat now, and I'll answer it, and you can view it later. Or I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. You have an interview tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Don't worry about it. And that's like the simplest thing to say. Oh, don't worry about it. When people used to say it to me when I was anxious and ruminating, don't worry about it. I'd be like, yeah, I can't not worry about something. But all I'm saying is that the thinking, the overthinking, the preparing for what could happen, might not happen, it doesn't serve you. You are who you are. You've spent your life becoming who you are. That is enough. And just be present. Be present. And if you want to practice, just be present right now. Yeah, so I'll be here same time next week, Tuesday, 6 a.m. But we'll be here tomorrow, and some of the people we've got in here today, a few of the people we got in here today, have been here every single Wednesday. So we'll have the same group of people in unless they're busy. But generally speaking, it's the same group, give or take a few people sometimes, which is amazing. It's a good group. I can assure you it's a very good group of like-minded individuals. And we're all learning this thing together. It's brilliant. So tomorrow's 6 p.m. But if you go to my community tab, you can see the schedule. And if you follow me on Instagram, starting tomorrow, I'll be posting when I'm going live. I'll also be putting a Q&A beforehand, so you can get your questions in, and I'll be answering them at the start of the stream, or maybe at the end of the stream. I haven't worked that one out. Okay. Number 9, question your thoughts before trusting them. We have been conditioned in this life based off of our past, based off of media, based off our upbringing. where we grow up, with the people who surround ourselves with. We've been conditioned. And it's not like a malicious thing. Some of it's malicious, some of it's a bit dark and evil, but most of it is just life. And naturally, our minds work a certain way, things come to mind, and we think this is what is normal. We think this is what is normal, but we must question it. When these thoughts come to mind, we have to question it. Go, is that right? And most time, you just have to make sure you're aligning yourself with virtue, and you'll know what is right or what is wrong. But a lot of the conditioning, it's a bit off topic, but I'm noticing it recently, is people are conditioned to see themselves as less, to hate themselves, to not love themselves, to push themselves down. And I just want you to know, none of that never serves you. Putting yourself down, hating yourself because of your past doesn't serve you, and it never will. Um, you're not who you was in the past. You're not your conditioning. The only person you will ever be is the person you decide to be right now. So if you decide to be a person that wants to do better with their life, that wants to help people, that wants to love themselves, that wants to do good in this world, that wants to be proud of themselves, you can be that person right now. Nothing is stopping you. And if you allow your past to stop you, then you'll stay stuck in your past. You'll be doing yourself a disservice. I remember I was so shameful that I genuinely believed that I shouldn't be happy. That I do not deserve happiness. That because I've suffered so much in the past, I need to stay with that kid that suffered in the past. But what good does that do that kid? What good would that ever do him? He's gone through these troubles. He deserves, now that I'm at a place where I can help him, now that I'm at a place I can live a good life, that I can be present and I know what is a good life, he deserves that. All his troubles are not going to be in vain. He's gone through that, and I'm going to serve him well. And you too can serve yourself well by allowing all your past pain, all your past suffering to mean something, to become something, to lead it to you living a good life. You're allowed to be happy. You're allowed to live a good life. It's not a sin. Yeah, the additional streams, they're subject to change, but over the next 3 weeks, they're not. I'm trying them out, seeing how it goes. This is going great. It's good. Before work, I can get this in. The only problem I'm having is the morning pollen. The morning pollen's getting to my eyes, so my eyes are so like tired. But that's a me problem. But yeah, I'm liking it. It's no better way to start the day. I keep saying, like, I'm telling everyone in my life, I'm like, these streams are like just incredible. I can't believe I've gone through my life without them. It's such a good little community, and it's so good to speak about these things and to discuss ideas, to learn together, and just to know that there's like a corner of the internet that is not given up. That there's some good in this world, and it's worth fighting for, and that's what we're fighting for. The lessons always remain, and the hard times will always pass. Exactly. Where are we? 10, control what you can, accept what you can't. This comes from the Stoics, but mainly Epictetus, right? He said in his Enchiridion, some things are within our... Also, this exact passage influenced modern day therapeutic techniques such as rational emotive behavioral therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy. Epictetus had a huge impact on these things. Some things are within our power, others are not. Within our power are our opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power, our health, our wealth, our reputation, our office, and in a word, whatever is not of our own doing. I thought I made a mistake on that quote. So what he's saying here is we give most of our efforts to things outside of our control, which leads us to being tired, burnt out, stressed, frustrated, anxious. And the Stoics are teaching us that we do not control the external world, only how we respond to the external world. We control the internal. So our opinion, our motivation, our desire, and our aversion. We have power over what we assent to, what we move away from, what opinions we build of these things. And that's generally it. Like I've got a quote, you can dance in the rain or pour in the rain. You can dance in the rain or sulk in the rain. It'll rain regardless. Because you can't stop the rain. But I can think right now, well, it's raining. I'm a bit upset because it's ruined my day. I won't be upset. I'll think about a positive about this. I'll change my plan and think about a positive. So yeah, this is very helpful. There's an exercise actually. I talked about it last week. When there's a situation that you're stressed about, a situation that's troubling you, it's been on your mind for a while. Get home, get a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, write the situation at the top, put in my control on one side, not within my control on the other side. And within that situation, you list all the things within your power. And it'll be something very simple about like how I respond to it, what I do, what I decide to do with it, what I decide not to do with it. So it's very simple, very very simple. And the other list will be huge. It'll be like an endless list of like other people's opinions, what other people say, the weather. It'll be just an endless list, and you can just look at the list on the left of what you do control and say, okay, that's where I need to put my focus. The rest does not matter. Yeah, Matthew, I think something special is happening. I'm really seeing it, and it's really like I've never felt this passionate before. I've never, and this is like I've decided to run head on into it, and because I know something special is happening, I can already see it. Um, and together we're going to do incredible things. No, it's already happening. Like I'm already seeing so much good come from this. Like I think I told you, I'm seeing some of you on the Instagram helping other people. It's amazing to see. Like I always say, a little good for this world is a lot of good for this world. The one act of kindness can change someone's life. It's happened to me, and I always say about like an old person that sits alone in their room all day and they're lonely and they're miserable. Some of these people, like at the very end, ready to give up. And I know this for a fact. I know this because I've encountered a lot of these people. And you just speak to them for 5 minutes. You smile at them. You wave at them. You say, "Have a good day." You're kind to them on the bus at the shop, and suddenly this person that is like at the very end has an interaction. They go, "Okay, that has given me the passion. That has given me the fire to live." I'm telling you, never disregard an act of goodness, an act of kindness. Is being ambitious bad? Because when you have ambition, you're associating good with externals, and without having ambition, how to find a drive to work hard for an end. Ambition is not bad. This is like a big mistake people make with Stoicism because they hear the Stoics say, um, there's only good, bad, and indifferent. Virtue alone is good, vice alone is bad. So when people say, like the Stoics, because I always teach it, I'll go, the Stoics say virtue alone is good, courage, wisdom, temperance, and justice. That's the only good. And then people are like, oh, but how can I pursue ambition? How can I pursue a career if that's not good? The Stoics had this middle column, preferred and dispreferred indifferences. So preferred indifferences are health and wealth, success, whatever, because you can use these things. The point is, as long as you're following virtue, as long as you follow virtue, you can do what you want. You can be and do whatever you want as long as you're following virtue. So if you have an ambition for a goal, as long as you do not lose sight of virtue, then you can pursue it to your heart's extent. Um, good morning. Good morning, Ramea. Thank you very much for what you're sharing with us. This is the best way to start my day before going to work. I'm glad you think so. I also agree. What a way to start the day, and it seems like it's going to be a lovely day here in sunny England. Um, yeah, as long as you do not stray from virtue, that is the most important thing. You have to get this grasp of virtue before you start pursuing things. You can never stray away from virtue because I've done it in the past. I pursued greatness with my career, with the business I built with my brothers. I pursued greatness. I pursued these huge goals, and I completely lost myself. I completely lost myself. I destroyed my life. I destroyed my internal world. I destroyed my mental health and my psyche, and I completely lost myself. So as long as you pursue that thing without losing yourself, without giving up on virtue, you're good to go. Yeah, just keep your character no matter what you do, because you see a lot of people that this goal becomes greater than life itself. This goal becomes greater than the people around them, and they lose themselves. And that's like, it's not even a selfless thing. I'm literally saying, like, you get to the end of your life and you've achieved this goal, you look back and go, what did I give up to get here? What did I I missed out on the real importance of life. You miss out on all these wonderful things because you pursued greatness. Okay. Um, Number 11, see others' pain, respond with empathy. It doesn't really need explaining. Everyone is going through hardships. Everyone. I don't care if they're your enemy. I don't care if they're the most happy person, the most successful person, the richest person. Everyone goes through pain. It is a fact of life. The Stoics understood this. The Buddhists understood this. Pain is a fact of life. We can outrun pain. And empathy can go a long way. Empathy can change the world. So if you want a little bit of homework, actually, I won't give you too much homework today. I might at the end. You've already all been doing so well. And I hate to give homework. I'll only give homework if you ask for it. That's the rule. By the way, before I keep moving on for these rules, is there anything anyone has any questions about, something that's not making sense, something you want to add? Just let me know, and I'll keep going to it. I'll get to it. Also, Ramia, it's good to have you here, especially so early. What a wonderful thing. But I'm doing 4 live streams a week now. So if you can't make the AM live stream, you can always go to the PM live streams on Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. That's why you should always be kind to others. You never know what that person in front of you is. Exactly. You really don't. And you don't understand the power you hold. Like, I wrote a poem about this. I read it. I wrote it years ago, and I only just read it yesterday. And I was quite proud. I was like, that's good writing. But it was about like our power, like to change people's lives, to save people's lives, just through loving, through caring, just through empathy, just through compassion. Okay. Number 12, remember we're all part of one whole. So the Stoics believe in this idea of sympatheia, that we're all part of the same universe, that we're all, Marcus Aurelius said, to turn on one another, to hate one another, is to like being a tumor on the universe, that we're separate to it. We are not separate to anyone. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all part of the same whole. We all come from the same source. I think it is very important to remember this, because there's a lot of hate in this world. There's too much hate, and there's a lot of hate online. And I think when we understand that we're all human, we all come from the same source, that we all deserve love, we all deserve a good life. And if we have the ability to help others live a good life, then why don't we? What a wonderful world it could be. Hey, Rockhead, it's good to have you here. It's fine. I started super early, and I understand. I don't think I warned anyone. Actually, I did put it on the community tab. But if you can't make today, I'm live same time as usual, Wednesday, and now I'm doing Thursday and Sunday. But I've posted the schedule. But if you follow me on Instagram, that'll be, you will never miss a day. I'll be posting it on the story saying when I'm going to go live. I'll be doing the Q&As the day before, so you can get your questions in and I can answer them on the stream. And then no worries for missing it. And yeah, but again, if you have any questions now, just put them in the chat. If you've got to get to work, if you've got to, whatever you got to do, got to go about your day, get breakfast, whatever it is, just get your questions in now. I'll answer them. Anything that's been bugging you, anything that's been on your mind, and I'll answer them, and then you can watch it in the replay. Number 13, it's not things that hurt you, but opinions. Like all the Stoics talk about this. It's not actually things that disturb us, it's our opinion of these things that disturb us. And I remember, I think it was a really good example, Salma Hayek. I think it was Salma Hayek. She's in an interview and someone's asking her about, like, how do you develop a tough skin? And she's like, if I was insulting you now in Spanish, I'm swearing at you, saying all these horrible things, you don't speak Spanish, so it wouldn't affect you. It wouldn't affect you in any way. And the interviewer's like, yeah, it wouldn't. I think it was Sam Hayek. She's like, yeah, it wouldn't. And it says, and that's the way I just see it. That's the way I see insults in any language. That's the way I see Am I on topic right now? Yeah. It says like what you're doing is you're interpreting it. You hear the thing, you interpret it as an insult. You're the one that translates it because you can't understand Spanish. You can't translate it. It says basically any difficulty or challenges, as long as you don't translate it into this is an insult, it doesn't become an insult. And it's easier said than done, but that's genuinely how I see it now. That's how the Stoics see it. And I see challenges, I see insults and difficulties. I see it as a gift, I'll be honest. I see rude people as a gift. I see hard days as a gift. I see confusion as a gift. Genuinely, I see it as a gift because I feel the growth from it. I feel the gift that is it. And it's, Marcus Aurelius talks about this, is says like, if you want to be an Olympic level wrestler, then you need an Olympic level opponent to face. And so in life, if you want to become a better you want that spiritual growth, you want to become an Olympic level you, then God is giving you an Olympic level challenge. Because if there's no challenge, you'll never grow. Epictetus says, what would have become of Hercules if there were no boar, no hydra, no stag, or no evil deeds no evil to rid the world of? He wouldn't have become the great Hercules. He would have rolled over in his bed and gone back to sleep. I can't remember what page this is on, but that's basically the quote. Hercules became the hero he was because of challenges. 14, asking for help shows strength, not weakness. Asking for help is not giving up. It is refusal to give up. Marcus Aurelius uses this beautiful analogy. He says the soldiers storming the castle walls, the soldier that doesn't accept the hand over the wall is the soldier that gives up on the mission. So the soldier's like, I don't need help over the wall. I don't need help. That's the one that gives up. Not the one that says, hey, I need help over. I need help. I'm not strong enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not whatever athletic enough. That is the one that keeps going. The one that says, I need help. And that is you. Ask for help. If you've got people around you that can help, ask for help. You'll be astounded to understand, to learn that when you start to be honest and start asking for people for help, they help you more. They love you more. They see you more. And I truly believe that clarity is one of the most important things. The more someone can see you, the more you can see someone else, the greater things are. The less friction there is in the way, the less clouded it is. So asking for help is not giving up. It is not weakness. It is a strength. It takes strength to admit where you can't keep going. It takes the strength to admit where you need help. Okay. Love 15. Love whatever happens. It's your path. This is the greatest teaching of Stoicism. Did I write it somewhere? Amor fati. I wrote it somewhere. I don't know where it is. Amor fati, which is Latin for love your fate, the love of one's fate. Everything is being laid out in front of us. The past cannot change. If something has happened, you cannot change it. So you can either complain about it, you can hate it, you can moan about it, or you can love it because it has been given to you and you make the most of it. And this is one of the teachings of Stoicism that took me the longest to learn. In fact, I learned it when I was 30. I thought I learned it, and I've still got a lot of learning to go. But I thought I learned it when I was younger because bad things would happen, difficulties would happen, challenges would happen, life would befall me. And I'd be like, okay, I love this. I love this because this is what I've been given by the universe. This is what God has given me. And it was incredible. It was miraculous, the things that shifted to my life. But I still compared myself to people. I still hated myself in a sense. And I wasn't aware of it because I was comparing myself to other men. Going, he's richer than me. He's more successful than me. He's better looking than me. He's wiser than me, smarter than me. And I wasn't aware I was really doing this, but deep in my mind, I was doing this, comparing myself to other men. And when I turned 30, I thought about this because it really overcame me at the age of 30. I was like, these people are better than me, whatever it was. And something clicked. I was like, this is the final piece of the Amor Fati puzzle. I was like, they're not me. I am me. This is who I am. I've been given this vessel, this identity, this energy. I've been given this by the universe. I've been given this by God. I am I. And when I understood that, I was like, there's nothing greater. No, like I could not want for anything else other than being me because this is who I am. I will never be anyone else. I can never change this. And I am me. How incredible is that? And I always thought loving your fate was loving what happens to you, but who you are is also what's happened to you. You're this person, you've been given this vessel, and you've got to love it. You've got to love yourself because you can't be anyone else. Okay, I should have got more water. But it's not as hot, so I don't need as much. But um, number 16, do your hard winters training. I wish I had the quotes to hand about this. I'll just read them off the top of my head. Hopefully, it's still right. Epictetus talks about this. He says, how does the bull know that it can defend its herd from the lions? How does it know this? Is it an innate ability, or is it because the bull has been through difficulties? It's been through challenges, it's faced similar challenges. And he goes on to say about hard winter's training, we must undergo a hard winter's training to know what we are capable of. And he's literally meaning like, do something very challenging for a brief period of time. Do like hard 75, push yourself, prove to yourself what you can truly do. Growing up, I pushed myself like no other. It's like I was addicted to. It's like I was addicted to hard work and suffering. It's like I needed suffering to exist. And me and my brothers would do like 100+ hour work weeks every week. Uh, I talk about this all the time. When we were building our business, our company, the Mulligan Brothers, and was making inspiring films, we was doing 100+ hour work weeks in my mum's attic space. And this like pink attic space. It was like a crawl space. There was like there's a triangle, and mine and Luke's bed were tucked into the eaves here. So Luke's was here and a mattress with the insulation hanging over his hair, and mine was there on a mattress with the insulation hanging over me over here. The winters were freezing. The summers were intolerable. Right. I remember in the winter I used to put on like loads of coats, 2 socks, tuck my trousers into my socks. I'd go downstairs, do a load of shadow boxing, do a load of press ups, so I'm like boiling hot, and then I'd climb upstairs and go to bed. And then, whilst doing all this work, for some reason, we started endurance running. So we would do our like 12 hours of editing for that day, 15 hours of editing for that day without any sleep. And Luke would say, hey, Will, do you want to go run a marathon? I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So then we would spend the next 4 hours running a marathon at night for no reason. I don't know why, but that pain, that hardship, has built a confidence within me that I know whatever happens in life, I can revisit that. And I don't exist in that state of mind. Thankfully, I don't exist there because I was so exhausted, so burnt out. Like I was hearing things and seeing things, and I had migraines 24/7. But just knowing that I can visit there is helpful. So I think it's worthwhile doing your hard winters training. Yeah, cold water plunge. Cold water plunge. I really recommend it personally for me. I just love them. They're so refreshing. And I try doing them every morning, if I have the time. I think that it's just so good. It's so refreshing. I look Nothing beats cold water. Um, yeah. So we're at number 17. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Number 17. I'll try and move through them quicker because this stream was supposed to be 2 hours. Um, Number 17, stay focused on the process, not the reward. Life is 99.999% the journey, 99.99% the process, and the reward is just a flicker of a moment. And if you live for the reward, you miss out on that other 99.999%. So if you're working towards your goal, you're wanting to graduate, you're wanting to get married, you're wanting to save up for a holiday, you're wanting whatever it is, enjoy the process as much as you enjoy getting the thing. It will change your life. Number 18, Um, you always choose. Your power is choice. You always have the power to choose. This is literally your. This is your freedom. This is what you have. And just know this, having that understanding and the confidence that you can choose, it's helpful because we feel like victims to life. We feel like we're just being washed about. But when difficulties before you, you can pause and think about it. Um, Number 19, don't suffer from things that haven't happened. I used to always use the analogy of like, going to the dentist or going to the doctors. You'd suffer 1,000 times when you only need to suffer once. Yes, the pain's going to happen when you go to that thing, but you don't need to spend the weeks running up to it in pain and stressed and anxious, because most our difficulties exist in our imagination, and our imagination is infinite and it is there all the time. So just face the thing when you face it. Say it's going to be crap, it's going to be rubbish, it's going to be a bit painful, but when that day comes, I'll face it. Right now, I've got other things to do. Don't compare, walk your own road. Number 20, don't compare, walk your own road. Comparison is the thief of joy, especially now with social media. We're seeing all these happy lives, people smiling, people successful, people rich, and we compare and we feel less than. But just know that your life is your 24/7 in the here and now. That is your life. Their life is not an image. You see this image of a success, you see them walking by looking happy. That's not their head. You don't know what's going on in their life. And even if they are happy, even if they are successful, what's that got to do with you? It doesn't change you. It doesn't infiltrate your mind. It doesn't penetrate your internal world. Number 21, you become what you repeatedly do. You become what you repeatedly do. You like habits. This is why I think reading the Stoics is so important. This is why I think things like engaging in this live stream and trying to improve your life is so important. Because if we stick to what we've been doing, the comfort, the just going by through life, just being a sheep, just being like everybody else, just giving up, just giving into cynicism, giving into nihilism, giving into hate and greed, this will become our life. Over time, we'll become that sort of person. But if we stop it now and we decide we want better for ourselves, we want better for the people we love, we want better for the people around us, then you will change that path. The greatest analogy is the wagon in the mud. The wagon keeps going through the mud and eventually it carves a path. And that is what you repeatedly do. You repeatedly go down that path, so you carve the path. And soon, that is the easiest path for the cart to follow. In fact, it becomes instinct. It just rolls through those grooves. And then it becomes very difficult to get out of those grooves. But right now, what you're doing is getting out of that groove. You've got up early, you've joined a live stream about Stoicism, you're making an effort, you're focusing on self improvement, and you're carving a path out of that mud. And slowly, every day, you keep carving that path out of the mud until you build a new path to go down, a path built off of the virtues, a path built off of the characteristics and the life that you want to live. Number 22, every moment is a chance to live fully. Every moment is the moment. It's a fact. This moment right now is the moment. It is the only moment. This is life. I can't impress this idea enough. This moment is the life. It is the only moment we'll ever have. There'll never be more than this. So what are you waiting for? Whilst you're listening to me, whilst you're getting ready for work, whilst you're getting ready for bed, whatever you're doing, I don't know what time zones you're all in. Actually, if you are listening and you're at your desk or you're at your phone, can you just let me know what time, like where you are in the world? Because it just helps me with the scheduling of these. I'd like to know because I think pretty much everyone is in Europe, but I might be wrong. Um, I think Shanu is in India. I think everyone else is in Europe. Just let me know where you are in the world. That just for me personally, it would be helpful. Okay, be 23. Be strong enough to carry the weak. If you have the strength and you have the confidence and you are here in your life right now, knowing that you want to do better, knowing that you can make a difference, then you also have the strength to help the weak. And if you've managed to overcome a difficulty and you've got to the top of the hill, then you can lean back and pull people over. That is your greatest strength. If you can, then you should. And like I said, there's nothing too small. There's no kindness too small. Any act of good, a little good for this world is a lot of good for this world. Okay. We have Ireland, Northern Ireland, Syria, Scotland. Oh, it's wonderful. 9:30 a.m. So you're 2 hours ahead. Okay, so yeah, we're all very similar time zones. Okay, so the 6 p.m. ones are probably better for you all, I reckon. It's good to have you here, Katie. Katie, I'm going to assume it's Katie. Um, um, uh, yeah, okay. So the 6 p.m. ones are probably better, but I'll stick to these morning ones for now anyway. But just know that anyone that didn't hear, the schedule is 6 a.m. on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Thursday, 4 p.m. Sunday. Okay. So where are we? 24. Stay a student. Never stop learning. This is what I love about Marcus Aurelius. Is as emperor of Rome, even into his old age, he was always learning. I could talk about this guy forever. And it's crazy. People always say, "Oh, don't read book one. You don't need to read book one." Book one is him talking about the people he learned from everyone, which I love because as emperor of Rome, as emperors go, emperors were pretty insane and evil and wicked, and ignorant and thought they were gods and didn't need to learn anything. Marcus Aurelius was different. And I could talk about Aurelius all day because anytime I mention a teaching from him, everyone's like, oh, it's easy for him to say. He was emperor. What difficulties did he have? That he doesn't have struggles like I do. Marcus Aurelius was probably one of the most troubled people in history. Maybe that's there's a lot of people that have lives like him. I understand, um, but I am way more fortunate and privileged than he will ever be. I live a relatively privileged life. I must admit, he outlived 7 of his own children. He lost countless in the Antonine Plague. He saw death all around him in the Marcomannic Wars that he led. He was ill most of his life, sick most of his life. He faced political turmoil, political threats of death, lies about him, about his character, assassination attempts. He had to lead his empire. There's so much he had to do. That's why I love his diary because you wouldn't know it. It reads like an ordinary man's diary. Uh, You've already done your workout. I had a morning coffee, but I had a really small one because I usually like to have my coffee at work. So I had a really small coffee. Don't think it was enough. But the idea was I needed a little bit of energy to get on this stream, but I don't think it was quite enough. It's also I know I feel like I keep bagging on about it, but these trees and recently have been ruining my eyes. I need like some eye drops. If anyone has any advice, because allergies are new to me, if anyone has any advice, it'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. Uh, 25. But the thing is, sorry, I didn't even get to the point. Being a student always is this understanding. It's the approach I take. Like right now, as I'm talking to you all, I'm learning. I'm learning from what you're speaking about. So even though I'm taking like generically the teacher stance because I'm here speaking out to you, I'm learning from your responses. I'm learning. Like I can't. Anyone that's new to this stream, like I can't express how much I've learned from you all, from your responses. It's like as I'm going along, I'm learning so much, and that's what gets me fired up to teach. Is like everything I talk about from the Stoic, because ultimately I'm not giving anything new. I'm just sharing the wisdom from these ancient people. Is when I'm talking about them, I'm learning so much from you all, and I just find it amazing. But yeah, if you always stay a student, then you never become ignorant. You always know that you can always learn something, and life becomes more rich. It becomes more beautiful. Okay, I have there's 3 more teachings left, 3 more rules left. anyone, like I say, if anyone has any questions, just get them in. And if something's not making sense, or you've got a point to make, you have your own perspective, just say it whenever you want to say it. Get it in there. Um, Also, another question for you all is, you all kindly responded saying where you're from. Um, do you, when you listen to these live streams, I think this is my 8th live stream. When you listen to them, are you actively listening? Are you doing things? Because I've said it before. I love the engagement. Like, I really appreciate the engagement. But I also don't want to stand in the way of your day-to-day things. So you can, do the washing up, cook your dinner, go to work, whatever it is. Do your workout, listening. Um, Okay, I've got some good help here. Satirized 10 milligrams. Okay, this is awesome. This might help my allergies. But yeah, how do you listen to these streams? Basically, is what I was thinking, what I was trying to say. Because I'm also thinking, if many of you sit there and watch it, I'm trying to wonder how to make it more engaging. Like, can I put things on screen so you can read along with my rules? I remember a few weeks ago when I did the 51 rules, some of you were saying like it would be good to see these rules. I agree. I just need to learn how to use this interface properly. Um, I keep saying like I'll learn it. I'm trying to learn it. It's just I've got a lot. It's crazy. My work is literally in this field. Like I'm on, when I go to work, I'm on YouTube um, and and social media and stuff. But I don't know why I don't seem to have the time to work out what how to do these streams properly. But maybe that's the fun. That's the fun of it, just getting on here and talking. And maybe one day one of you sat in the stream will be a professional streamer and you'll teach me. You'll say, "Oh, this is what you do, William." Okay, number 25, don't be ruled by lust, anger, or greed. Marcus Aurelius talks about this a lot. Epictetus and Seneca talk about this a lot, actually. I love it. But lust, anger, and greed, uh, they will destroy you. They will ruin your life. They are the devil, and they come to destroy you. But the thing is like, I mean, right now it's hard. The social media and news is like presenting these things in front of us that will make us fall for lust and anger and greed. What is crazy? Society is putting these things on a pedestal. Like, this is what everyone's striving for now. Things based from the position of greed, lust, and anger. It's like society is collectively agreeing, like, this is what we're striving for. This is what we want. This is what media. This is what's the internet. This is what music. This is what the news is all talking about. This is what the billboards show. It is tugging on these impulses, these vices of lust, anger, and greed. It's like telling us, like, this is what it means to be a man. This is what it means to be a woman. And like the general discourse online is arguing in favor of these things. Now, I'm not saying that there's certain things that people move towards, having money, having success, having relationships, whatever it is. I'm not saying that these things are inherently bad, but the source of anger, lust, and greed, they're terrible. They will corrupt your character. They will destroy you. Um, so we cannot be ruled by them. And how do we not be ruled by them? We come from a place of virtue. We build that foundation that the Stoics say is most important. And if we stick together in these streams and we keep working together, soon your foundation of virtue will be impenetrable. It will be unshakable. Like, nothing comes first. And that's how I feel. Nothing overrides virtue. When I'm faced with any difficulty in life, nothing will override virtue. To search for the old is to understand the new. I've never heard that quote, and I've never heard that writer. I'm going to save that one. While walking in the morning, great. It depends. I'm listening to it in the gym, but usually I have more time to sit and watch it in the evening. Okay. Most of the time I multitask as something to do with child or anything. Yeah, if you've got a child, everything becomes a multitask. Yeah. Society is downgrading its collective frequency really bad. Yeah, I've got this theory. It's um, like tumultuous times when things start to seem like they're downgrading. Um, it's like the pressure is building, it's being compressed, and that can either make or break us. It can even make or break a society. And I'm seeing it now. It's like fluctuating real rapid, and things are getting more tumultuous. And I'm of the opinion that it's going to lead us somewhere good, because people either give in completely or they get sick and they stand up. They get sick and tired, sorry, and they stand up and they're like, they demand better. They draw a barrier, a boundary, and they say, I want better. And that's the point of this stream, is like, it's a group of people that agree that we collectively could be doing better, that we collectively know our own power, that we don't have to rely on being told what to do. We don't have to rely on the narrative that is this downgrade, as you say, in society, that we know we can do good, that there is some good in this world and it's worth fighting for, that we are the fellowship, that we're starting our journey. And, you know, the hobbits and the men and the elves, they felt like it was impossible to take on the epitome of evil, Sauron and his armies, its armies, Sauron's armies. But it was a hobbit that saved the world, that saved everyone. And I think that about us as this fellowship that we're building. It's a group of people that know we can change the world, that we can fight for this good that's in this world. Okay. Number 26, see clearly, don't fall for false impressions. Let me think about this, how to get this point across correctly. To see clearly falls in line with a lot of the Stoic teachings. It's to understand that we're mortal. It's to love your fate. It's to understand what is good. It's to understand what is within your power. And it's quite a hard task, but when you start to see all these things, when you start to understand these things clear as day, which should have been easy if we was raised off of these teachings, if we was raised in a better society that valued these things, then these would be second nature to us. But unfortunately, most of what we have to do is we have to unlearn. So don't fall for false impressions. False impressions are things like, you know, we go, money is good, success is good, clout is good. That's a false impression. These things are neither good nor bad. Virtue is good. And if we use these things with virtue, then brilliant, that's a preferred indifference. Number 27, the final teaching, and then I'll get onto the free topics. These free topics were asked of me on Instagram. So I thought I'd speak about them if I have time. So number 27, be brave enough to be good. It takes courage to be good. And this is what I'm always talking about. I'm always talking to you all about being good, but sometimes it just takes a bit of courage. Sometimes it's scary to just jump. Sometimes it's scary to be the good you wish to see in this world. But why are we waiting for the good we wish to see in this world when we can be that good? And that good can change lives. It can save lives. Never, everyone listening right now, hopefully you're starting to understand it if you've been listening to me a lot. Never, ever disregard the power you have to change life, to save a life. What you do, and I'm talking like not what you can do in your life, not what you can do when you've built yourself up, when you've built your character, when you're standing on solid foundations. Not that, because that is really powerful. But what you can do today, as you are, who you are right now, you can change life, you can save a life, as you are now. And I'm not exaggerating, I truly mean it. I go on about the bin man that gave me a book. That one bin man that gave me a book completely changed my life, maybe saved my life. I remember in the darkness I was in at that point, and I thought the whole world was evil and the whole world was out to get me. When that bin man gave me that book, I just thought, you know what, there is some good in this world. There really is. And I'm going to spread that. We're little pebbles, you know, we're little pebbles. And society is the monkey king saying to us, you're just this little pebble in my palm and I'll crush you. And we are the little girl that takes the pebble out of the monkey king's hand, throws it into the lake, watches it ripple across for miles, and says, I may be a little pebble, but look what I did to that lake. We're all little pebbles, and that's our power. Don't underestimate it. Okay. So the three topics are, I'll just paste them. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Three topics are how to stop caring what people think. There is some good in this world, and it's worth fighting for. And then how to feel the magic of life. Um, okay, I cannot label them properly. I don't know what's going on. Um, People think. And also, once I've wrapped up here, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Okay, so there they are. Okay, so how to stop caring what people think. This isn't really stoicism. This is just random things I got asked. I haven't really thought about these. How to stop caring what people think. Just understanding what drives people, first of all. People are driven by their insecurities, by their fears, by their ego, by their desire to fit in. And this is what drives them to say certain things about you. But ultimately, the most important thing is what you do for you, what you do for yourself. I always think about the person that is scared to go to the gym because they're embarrassed what people think. You don't know what people are going to think, but you're willing to be a detriment to your own health. Say the doctor says you need to exercise more, the doctor says you need to stretch more because your back, you've got back pain and it's crippling you, and doing certain stretches will help. But you're worried to go to the gym and fear of being judged. You're willing to put your own health on the line, your own well being, your own suffering. You're willing to disregard all that because you're worried what someone else will think. Who cares what they think? They're not your life. They never will be. They're just another passerby. And they have their own lives. They have their own difficulties. They have their own struggles. So understanding that your world is more important, your internal, because when you start focusing on how you treat yourself, you become a better person. You become a better person for the people around you. Um, yeah, exactly. Everyone does have. I don't know if you've heard the word sonder. Um, I love sonder. I know what it means, but I'm going to get the exact description. Sonder Sonder is the profound realization that everyday random stranger is living a life as vivid, complex, and central to them as yours is to you. It describes the quiet awe of acknowledging that you are merely an extra in the background of billions of other people's stories, which I think is such a beautiful word. Um, but then when you build a foundation of virtue and you understand that virtue, your character, who you are, that is what you need to focus on, then everything else washes away. Because in every situation, you don't go, oh, what are they thinking? You're going, what do I need to do? What's the important thing to be facing right now? What's important to me? And everything else washes away. It's a long journey, but you'll get there. But you need to keep exposing yourself to it. If you need to go to the gym and you're worried what other people think, step into the gym. And you might not do a workout, but the next day you step into the gym again, until you do an exercise. Then you're like, okay, that's too much. You just keep exposing yourself to it until you're comfortable with it. It's very well me saying these things because I agree. Like, what sometimes I read the Stoics and they're saying like, whatever, don't care what other people think. It's very well saying that your nervous system's a real thing, your ego is a real thing. These things are still protecting you, and you can't just override it instantly. I mean, you possibly could. It's possible with great courage and grit, but sometimes that can harm you. I've been there in the past. But if you just keep exposing yourself to doing the thing, over time, you feel great. You don't worry about these things. Hey, man, it's good to have you here, or woman. It's good to have you here. Uh, It's very good to have you here. The lesson is actually coming to a close, though. The teaching is coming to a close. I've got two more things. One is there is some good in this world and it's worth fighting for. And then the last topic is how to feel the magic of life, which is something I've figured out in myself. And I can give you a very simple exercise. I shared this on Instagram and the response was crazy. People saying like, I've never felt this feeling before. People saying they cried, and you can feel it within 3 minutes. So hopefully it helps. But you can watch this stream back. If you have any questions, put them in and I'll answer them. But this stream will be available on my page, and I will be live tomorrow at 6 p.m. GMT, Thursday 6 p.m. GMT, and then Sunday 4 p.m. GMT. But it is good to have you here. So there is some good in this world, and it is worth that fighting for. I talk about this all the time. If you've been in my streams before, you know this is one of my favorite quotes from Lord of the Rings, and it's something I live by. I don't care, because I was so cynical, so nihilistic. I used to think, what is the point in being good? What is the point in anything if people are just so rubbish, so crappy? But I don't care, because there will always be a good person somewhere. There'll be a good kid, an elderly person, a woman, a man, a bus driver, a police officer. There'll be someone out there that has a pure heart, that wants to do good, that is actively doing good. And I think because of that, you owe it to them, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to all the good people in this world, that you too will be good and you will fight to make more good in this world. And that's what we're doing right here. This is what this group's all about. We know that there's some good in this world and it's worth fighting for. We're not just giving up. We're not just giving into this narrative that everyone hates each other and the world is divided. It's men against women. It's this against that, because it's not. It's good against evil. That's all it is. That's all it will ever be. There is evil in this world. There is wickedness in this world. There is selfishness and greed. There are these people in this world that thrive off of the idea of us fighting amongst ourselves. It helps them. On these social media platforms, people that run the social media platforms, they get more ad revenue. They keep you on their platform longer if you're arguing. It's been proven. News outlets, newspaper outlets, they realize they sell more when they put hate and fear into the press. And the social media knows this. TV and film know this. If they can get you arguing amongst yourselves, they benefit. They prosper. Also makes you easier to handle when you're fighting amongst yourselves, when you're not facing the evil. So the point is there's a group of you here that understand that there is some good in this world and it's worth fighting for, and know that you can change lives with a bit of good. So that's what we must do. Okay, so the final teaching, how to feel the magic of life. I got asked about this enough times that I thought I'd share it. So there is a magic to life. There really is. And so many philosophies, so many spiritual practices talk about this. And you hear about this as nirvana or satori or pure essence, whatever it is. We hear about these things and we're like, but what is it? How do you feel it? And I've read so many books, listened to so many practitioners like Eckhart Tolle, like Don Miguel Ruiz. Read books like The Power of Now, A New World, The Voice of Knowledge. And they all spoke about this thing. And I felt this thing. I felt it in many instances. In fact, I felt it twice when I almost died. And Eckhart Tolle talks about this. In the face of death, you often feel this, like this life. You feel life. And it feels pure. It feels incredible. There's no problems when you're in this moment. And it was profound. And I got to a point where I can always feel it. Like I live the majority of the day. Apparently, you can live your life like this, according to Peter Crone. I think it's Peter Crone that talks about this. But I feel it a lot. And it made life so incredible. Like it brings tears to your eyes sometimes. And it's so beautiful. And I was thinking, I wanted to make a video about this. And I was like, how can I get someone that hasn't read all the books, hasn't listened to all the stuff like me, doesn't have the perspective I have, how can I get it so within 3 minutes they can feel what I feel? And I was thinking about this a long time. And instead of doing a video, I went for a walk and listened to some music. And the exact song I was listening to was Sailor Song by Gigi Perez. So anyway, and this I'll tell you the exercise now you can do. And of course, there's way more to it. There's more ways you can feel this, but this is the fastest acting way. And I shared this on Instagram, and I had a lot of messages saying like, "I can't believe you helped me achieve this. Like, like one song. I achieved it. I'm like, people were so thankful, people were crying. But this can bring tears to your eyes, right? So, and I actually want you, okay, right. I know I said I won't give homework, but I know some of you like homework. Eleanor, I know you like homework, and this is a fun one. This is really fun. Um, so here's some homework. And I really want everyone that's listening, I want you to try this. And I want next week, I mean, not next week, I want tomorrow or whenever you can make it live, I just want you to tell me how it worked for you and maybe what song you listen to. Right. So you got your headphones in, you've got music playing loud on your speaker. It's really good if you're out in nature. It makes it a little bit easier. So you go for a walk in the park. You've got your music playing, and you pick your favorite song, the song that just lifts you up, gets you fired up, right? And you listen to it, and you walk in. You're bouncing your head, you're dancing, you're singing. You feel the song as best as you can. You really get into the groove. Like you really, when you can really get into it, you do it the best you can in that moment. So if you're in your house, you're dancing around your house, you're singing, you're really bobbing your head, whatever it is. And then as you're doing this, I was walking through the park, listening to it, bobbing my head. I start to slow down my physical movement whilst keeping the music just alive in my head. So suddenly I'm no longer bobbing my head. I'm no longer walking with this great swagger. I'm walking calm. So I'm walking calm, but the music is still in my head. I'm still loving the song. I'm still dancing in my head. And then I kept walking and kept walking. And eventually I slow it down. So I'm walking at a very steady pace. And my head is still so vibrant, but I start to slow it down in my head. I'm no longer singing the song in my head. My head's no longer bouncing. It's just quiet. But there's still micro expressions on my face. I'm still feeling the music. So I quiet down the mind. So now I'm still. And then I stop still and I feel the music. And now the music moves from my head. I'm still listening to it as intense as possible, still feeling it. The music moves from my head to my chest. And then I'm completely still, as peaceful as possible, just feeling the music, just here. And it feels like your soul is dancing. And then you're just exhilarated and you look around, and I feel like it could bring tears to your eyes. It's so powerful, so incredible. And I really want you to try it because it's the only way I've been able to get people to feel what I can feel and to feel this thing. So try that. If you hopefully you understand it, right? You're off to work. Great. You've finished up. I'll be here tomorrow evening. Romeo. I'm going to say it's Romeo until I'm corrected. I apologize. Yeah, it's great to have you here, and I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow evening. Have a good day at work. But yeah, anyone listening, because this is it. This is that I've finished for today. I'm going to work now. After work. Yeah. Well, Eleanor, I hope I want to know how it goes for you. I want to know how it goes. Please let me know. But does everyone that's listening, does everyone understand what I've just said? The homework I've set. Do you fully understand how you're going to do that? Because that would be really great. And I'm wrapping up now. If you have any questions, quickly get them in because I've got to get to work. I'm actually running late to work. I did let work know that I'm live streaming. Okay. Articulation, stop mumbling. I try. I try. I've been practicing for many years not to mumble, and I think I'm doing a good job. Where I'm from, people struggle to understand people where I'm from. We don't have the clearest dialect. We don't articulate ourselves the best. And I also grew up with 7 siblings, so we learned to talk very quick in order to get our point across. But I used to also mumble because I was very self-conscious, and I used to like speak like this and like cover my face. I don't know why. But yeah. But Vindian, it's good to have you here. unfortunately, the stream is wrapping up. If you want to catch it, if you want to hear the 27 Stoic rules to master your life and how I use them in my life, if you want to hear the topics such as how to stop caring what people think, how to feel the magic in life, and there's some good in this world and it's worth fighting for. If you want to hear these things, you can rewatch the stream. If you want to engage in the discourse and the chat and learn about these things and ask me any question you want, I'll be live tomorrow at 6 p.m. If you go to the community tab, you will see the schedule, 6 p.m. tomorrow. But unfortunately, you just missed everything. But it's good to have you here. You're doing great, man. And these streams are getting better and better by the day. I love to hear it. Yeah, I'm not like self-conscious anymore. I've been speaking to people from different countries recently, and quite a few of them say, "Oh, I'm struggling. Can you slow down? Can you say that again?" So I do have to learn to articulate myself clearer, so that more people can understand me. But yeah, so everyone gets it. Everyone gets the assignment that I've given, the homework I've given. I know I said I wouldn't give homework, but this is more of a gift. It is really beautiful, and it's worked. I don't know if it's worked for everyone, but that is my best received video on Instagram. I think I got like, I don't know, like 6,000 followers from one video. And like for me, like, I only have 52,000 followers. Not that I'm like chasing followers, but like the majority of them came from that video of me teaching this thing. And I got so many messages, countless messages of people saying like, this changed my life. I felt it. I felt the magic of life. It made me cry. So it works. Okay, so I'm wrapping up. I'll be live tomorrow, 6 p.m. Follow me on Instagram because I'm posting Q&A. So I'll post the Q&A before I go live, the day before I go live, saying, ask me anything, and I'll answer it in the stream. So if you want to get your questions in early, just head over to Instagram and you'll never miss out on a live, or just hit the notification bell here. It will tell you when I'm live. But on Instagram, I'll be posting 24 hours before saying I'll be live tomorrow. Then I'll keep updating saying I'm live in 2 hours. And then when I'm actually live, I'll say, hey, I'm live now. Let's join in. Okay. But thank you, everyone, for joining me so early. I know no, you don't have to get Insta. I think you've said in the past you don't want to use Insta. You don't have to get Insta. Everything will be available here. You'll miss out on my reels, but you don't need to see my reels. I'll be here. And I don't want you. I know a lot of people have a better life without Instagram. So you don't have to get wrapped up in that because you just don't need it. Well, it's up to you. I'm not telling you what to do. But thank you. I know you joined me early today, but I appreciate you all for joining me early, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And please try that homework. I really want to know how it goes. It's not homework. It's a really great exercise. I want to know how it goes. So have a wonderful day, all of you.